Recording in progress.
There's audio. Do you hear audio? And there we are. Good evening, and we're going to call the May 20th meeting of the the Ione Town Council to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So welcome, everyone. as far as introductions go, we've got no personal people on the screen there. We got Selkirk Sun, we got, I think that's about it. And in the room, we've got Commissioner Smiley, welcome.
Thank you.
And Roger Rice, our maintenance manager. And sir, do you want to introduce yourself?
And I'm John Horton from the American Legion in Colorado.
Hi, John, how are you? So we'll start with the agenda. Well, I think all of you have the agenda. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion, changes, or additions that need to be made? I'll call for the question. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And Sandy, would you do us the pleasure of the minutes from our last meeting?
Yes. May 6th, Mayor Nutt called the regular meeting of the Ione Town Council to order at 6:31 with the following council members present: J. Sturba, P. Sturba, C. Smith, K. Weiss, and K. Timmer. Staff present, S. Hutchinson. Pledge of Allegiance was said. Major Nutt opened the meeting with a welcome and introductions and confirmed the quorum of the council was present. The first comment period opened at 6:40, no comment, closed at 6:41. A motion was made by P. Sturba, seconded by J. Sturba to approve agenda. Motion carried. The minutes of the April 15th meeting was read. A motion was made by C. Smith, seconded by P. Sturba to approve minutes as read. Unanimous consent. A motion was made by C. Smith, seconded by P. Sturba to approve payroll checks in the amount of $14,828.63. Motion carried. The motion was made by Ken Timrick and seconded by J. Sturba to approve accounts payable checks in the amount of $29,698.31. Motion carried. Guest Sheriff Blakely reviewed the 12 calls for service in April. Sheriff Blakely shared 4 Eastern counties sued the state over the Washington SB 5974 Sheriff Standards Law, arguing the bill is unconstitutional and violates election laws. Sheriff Blakely reported that our area has an ongoing scam for driveway repairs. Fire District 2, Chief Macaron stated they had 198 calls with 40 in Ione. Kim Riley presented a program for kids to meet and ride bikes around the area, asked if there was an area where everyone could meet, and suggested behind the coffee stand on Main Street and the highway. Major Nutt told Mayor Nutt told her to reach out to Wendy Pettis as she leased the property. Kim also suggested Coffee with a Cop is successful and thought a ride with the sheriff would benefit the young generation. She asked for donate bikes, helmets, and locks. Also asked the town to donate funding for the highway sign. Mayor Nutt mentioned we have bikes to donate from the airport. Carrie McNeely of the Selkirk Wellness Coalition has received a grant to purchase drug give-back dispensaries and would like to install one in the community center. The sheriff's office disposes of the drugs. Mayor Nutt suggested the council email P. Sturba for location review. Mayor Nutt attended the Trailblazer meeting and reported that the town of Ione approved a co-sponsorship of Downriver Days Parade and the outdoor concert. Old business. Mayor Nutt presented the council with proposed resolution 2026-3 declaring the water truck and vacuum sweeper truck as surplus, as both Roger Rice and Joe Sturba reported that the trucks were not suitable for further use. A motion to approve resolution was made by Ken Timrick, seconded by Jay Sturba. Motion carried. New business. A signature card for the bank account requires updating. Mayor Nutt proposed that we add Donna Mae Mendenhall as the third signer. The accounts to change are the business account 0037, money market 0025, and business checking 1077. Signers to be removed is John Cannon. New signers on all three accounts are Dan Nutt, Mayor, Sandy Hutchinson, Clerk Treasurer, and Donna Mae Mendenhall, Deputy Clerk. A motion was made by P. Sturba, seconded by C. Smith, to approve the signature card change. Motion carries. As Hutchinson stated, the Seventh-day Adventist Church would like to have music in the park on the first Saturday of July, August, and September at no charge for use of the park. A motion was made to approve the non-chargeable use of the park by C. Smith and seconded by P. Sturba. Motion carried. Mayor Nutt stated that the clerk treasurer position descriptions will be reviewed at the next meeting. Mayor Nutt presented a notice of intent to award for the runway 1533 taxiway turnaround rehabilitation to Road Products LLC in the amount of $148,414.23. The town cost share is at $7,000, up from the original $6,000. A motion to approve the bid award is seconded by Kay Weiss. Motion carried. Administrative report. S. Hutchinson shared that STIP is due in June. Mayor Nutt shared that the deputy clerk position is posted. Council reports. Joe Sturba spoke with Steve March of TDNH. The First Street sidewalk project permitting is in the approval stage. Procedure for utilizing the federal state surplus equipment procurement system are to be developed. P. Sturba shared the community center hallway lights are installed, exit signs to be installed soon, noted sidewalk cracks. She cleaned up the outside area and received good comments from the community. Mayor Nutt to bring his bucket truck to install the new flange on the flagpole. C. Smith report the rocks to block the vehicle access to the park are installed. Bathrooms need painting. Will investigate getting a stump grinder and will work with the clerk to purchase a flagpole and flag and looking into the play equipment stored at the shop. Mayor Nutt is still working on the inoperable camera at the pump building, and cameras in the pavilion show the park is being used regularly. Kay Weiss is finalizing a review of our airport lease rates versus other airports in Northeast Washington. The initial assessment is that our rates are significantly below the market and require adjustment. Kay Timrick, no report. Mayor Nutt, the water rate survey maintenance has been tasked to collect equipment inventory and research placement cost. Most information on existing equipment is available in the water system manuals. The Ponderay County Motel Hotel Tax Advisory Board has tentatively approved our grant request for highway sign replacement. Estimated cost of $19,000. The sign is programmable and may be used to advertise upcoming events. Ordura spoke with Mayor Nutt requesting a change to the helipad construction start date from June to July with a 7-day closure. With the fire season approaching, Mayor Nutt did not want to change. I'm just going to leave that out. Unless there is a contracted construction company. Runway maintenance resealing is not scheduled yet. Mayor Nutt advised the Ponderay County has 09 funds available for economic development. This funding may help with our match required for airport projects. Comprehension Plan Technical Advisory Group meeting to be held May 26th in ICC from 1 to 3 p.m. Monday, May 4th, the town of Ione hosted the U.S. Representative Baumgardner and other local leaders for a brief visit in Ione. Second public comment period opened at 8:52, closed at 8:55. Motion to adjourn at 8:56, and without any objection, approved by unanimous consent.
Thank you, Sandy. There was the one line there concerning the schedule of the helipad construction project. The construction date and the closure are both the construction is starting in June, and the runway closure is scheduled in July. So when I reviewed that, I may not have made that very clear, but just want the minutes to reflect that. Does anyone else have anything else for the minutes? We'll accept the minutes by unanimous consent. Thank you, Sandy. I appreciate the promotion. I never retired from the military, so it's one of those
Are you
meaningless
taking your retirement?
promotions. No, I'm
I'll
not.
write to him and let him know.
No, I got a nice hat after 12 years. I got a nice hat and a knife. So, and we'll now open the first public comment period. John, I think you're on the schedule as a guest presenter, so we'll hold you for that. We don't have anybody else. And Brian, we're gonna push Brian down on the agenda because the county.
He's over there having lunch. I saw him go to the store, so we're getting close.
The county.
If the mayor would allow, I did have something I wanted to let the council and the mayor know. The auditor, Mary Ann, is upgrading her ballot boxes. She's gonna install some new ballot boxes. She would like to take this one and work on it out here and move it closer to the building or a different location to make it easier for plowing. Apparently got kind of bumped a couple of times, and then she feels like it's too close to the alley. So I'm just giving you guys a heads up, and if you have a place you prefer it to go, let us know. Let me know.
We can, Mr. and Mrs. Sturba are the commissioners for streets and for the ICC, so they would be the best ones to
You got a good location for that, don't you?
do that.
Oh, I'm sure we do.
Not tonight, I needed to just think about it.
I'm sure we have a place we can put it.
Yeah,
She just wanted me to give you guys a heads up.
Yeah, I'm sure we can find out.
So think about that and think about a good place that's appropriate, remembering that the desire is that it has a security camera on it.
Oh, yeah, good point.
does it
And
have one on it now?
Does it have to be someplace where they have
Yeah.
to drive to it, or can it be
Oh, and then all
someplace
that camera
where they can
right
just
there
walk
should be
up
good.
and?
Yeah,
Okay,
Right there in the back.
it has to have after-hours access.
Top right.
The one in Medellin is actually on the porch to the town hall.
oh, okay.
The one that we're gonna put one in Medellin Falls, we're talking about bolting that to the building. Because again, they don't wanna plow around it if they put it in the sidewalk.
That's an idea.
But if we put it on the building, we gotta build a different box, because these ones have the front and back access.
Oh,
So this one is made to go on post.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. And we'll close the public comment period at minute 45. Next up, could I please have a motion to consider approval of our accounts payable and bills in the amount of $12,756.65?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded, and I think we had them all right here. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, Mr. Horton has a presentation to us, I think.
Thank you for having me here. My name is John Horton. I'm with the American Legion Frank Star Post over in Colville. for the last probably 15 years, we've done a 9/11 ride, a memorial ride. And I guess this year is the 25th anniversary, or 25th memorial would be more appropriate to me. But anyway, we've done the ride so many times, we would go south and go, but the last few years, the ride's been pretty consistent. We left the parking lot at Super One in Colville at 9:11 a.m. And our first stop has been, for the last 5 years at least, Beaver Lodge. So we have coffee and donuts in the parking lot there. Then we stop at Beaver Lodge for about a half hour. And then in the last few years, we went across to Medellin Falls. And there's the Legion post over there is usually open, and they have, coffee and stuff like that for us. And we go around town, and we rev up our motors, and make noise, and then come back and park at the American Legion. We're there about a half hour, and then we go up around Sullivan Lake and head down to Cusick for lunch and all that. But I would like to see if you folks here in Ione would like us to make a stop here. Either just come through town, or, I don't know if you would want us to stop for 20 minutes or a half hour. I would kind of like to set it up where we stop long enough to let some of the bikes with smaller gas tanks run down here and get some fuel. Last year we stopped at Medellin, and that didn't work out very well. But we're gonna end up, I'm talking with the tribe, I wanna go around the powwow grounds too. And it's more of an honor thing. It's about first responders, it's about police and fire and ambulance and military, the veterans. It's like, and there'll probably be 100 motorcycles is usually what we have. So I just wanted to come and talk to you folks about how you felt about us coming into town. It would be probably September the 5th. We would probably be here 11:30, something like that. I could nail the time down a little closer as 9:10. We're up at Beaver. We spend a half hour, so that's 11, maybe 11:30 down here or something.
So that's,
And as far as I'm concerned, you could have, like when we're in Colville, we go get fire, and we go to the city council, and we get the police to escort us out of town, and we go up through town and out by the high school, and the fire trucks come down with flags and take pictures of all of us, all the bikes, and everybody standing in a figure of 9/11. We kind of make a big deal of it in the morning, but I don't know, I would be open to anything, but I sure would like to involve the town of Ione if I could in any way.
I think it's a good idea. So it's on the Memorial or Labor Day weekend then, wouldn't it?
It would be, was that what it is, Labor Day weekend, the 5th?
September,
It's
yeah.
the first weekend in
So,
September.
usually we do it the first Saturday before 9/11. And I guess 9/11 is on Friday. So there's a group of us that kind of decide which days would be. So it would either be the 5th or the 12th. Would it be better for you guys if we came on the 12th or the 5th?
I don't think we have anything going on Labor Day, do we?
Yeah, I'm thinking from the
Town, I think it'd be more for you guys on Labor Day weekend, might be a little more traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there might be more guys that would be gone out of town. So it might be better for us to do it on the 12th, that way there would be more people in town. We've done it even when the fires, my brother came up here from Sacramento and rode it, And he goes, you know, that's the most beautiful country I've never saw. Because all the smoke. But we ride it, I mean, even if it was raining, we would ride it, so. There wouldn't be very many of us, but we would still do it.
So do you put together like a schedule or a route, and then you approach everybody about it?
We would have the route, that's why I came in May, you know, because I want to make sure that we could kind of figure you guys, if the mayor wanted to talk, or the fire chief, or a county commissioner, or, we want it to be a memorial.
Right.
You know, there's been people that try to turn it into a fundraiser and stuff like that. We don't do that. This is a memorial for first responders.
Excellent, yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah, I think that,
I think it's a good thing.
Labor Day weekend is one of those, it's become kind of a strange weekend, especially in the more remote areas. I have the RV park up here, and I'm almost empty on Labor Day weekend, because once school starts, people kind of shut down the travel. And so I think either weekend works for us as a town. I think it really is up to you guys what weekend you want to do it. And I would really like to honor whoever we can honor veteran-wise. I know Cindy's very familiar, because she used to, I think you still work with the auxiliary up there, don't you? And we have,
More than that.
our
A
connections.
little bit more.
yeah,
She's a state level.
We vow to send you.
State person.
I'm president of the whole state.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, so bow down to me.
So yeah, have you got a phone number we can contact you
Sure,
at, John?
I'll give you a couple of them. I have, my home phone would be 509-684-3785.
Yeah, I think if they,
And I have a cell phone of 680, that's
what
509-680-2409.
they do is the motorcycle stuff.
Yeah, I don't think we even really need a vote. I think the council would be, I think the town would be honored to have you.
Yes.
come.
Well, we would be
Absolutely.
honored too.
Absolutely.
And, like a half hour,
Dan.
that would give everybody a time to get some fuel, and we could, if you had some kind of a program that you wanted to do, that'd be great, or.
Me and Paula were talking, it'd be great if they came up and went through town and then cross over the highway there and go down to the park, and they could park down there, and maybe we could come up with some organizations to do
Yeah.
barbecue, hot dogs for them or something.
That would be great.
Oh, yeah. And I will warn you that we've had coffee and donuts down in Calder.
Oh, you want a hot dog?
We've had coffee and donuts in Beaver Lodge, and now we're, so it's like, you're probably, there would be a few people that would eat hot dogs. But
Not a bench.
yeah. It might, and then we end up in QC, and they usually put on a lunch, they have pulled pork and stuff.
Okay, well, maybe we'll give you Snickers.
Yeah, if you do too much. I'm just warning you, that might not work,
Okay.
at least not for me because, I gotta eat my donuts.
Our priorities, right?
Yeah. Thank you, John. What I'm gonna do is, Cindy, do you want to be the point of contact for the council for John? And maybe if you want to write your contact
He's got my
info.
phone number.
Oh, you got her phone number?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then here's my contact number too, and thank you for inviting us, because.
Yeah, I would, so just let me know, and I'll come back again,
Like I say, Cindy's kind of
Okay.
the ace at coordinating
All
things,
right.
and the park, I like the park idea, but I also like the idea of making the tour through town and
I
inviting
do
people
too.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to have the first responders.
There's plenty of room at the
Right,
depot, and we have road guards if you want us to come around and cross the highway and go down. you know, we can do some work with the traffic a little bit so everybody gets through there, if that was okay with you.
Yeah, no, we've, you know, we'll drag the sheriff and his guys down here and
Okay.
get the border patrol down here to help with stuff like
Okay.
that. So, yeah,
And the border patrol is a big part of this too.
okay,
Yeah, we're trying to plan some sort of a law enforcement day. We're kind of tired of what's going on. I'm not gonna be political, but, you know, we support ICE, Border Patrol,
Right.
law enforcement. I mean, anyway, thank you all.
Yeah,
right.
count us in.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go back to Colville, and usually I stay around for the whole meeting, but I'm gonna bail.
all right.
Thank you all.
Okay, John.
And Cindy, let me know. I'll come back again anytime, okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, John.
All right.
All right. Is your group here, Commissioner?
I think we're ready.
Okay. And what, did you need to do anything special?
I think if we can share Jared's Zoom, Jared's screen there. I'll introduce you guys. I don't think maybe you remember Jared Anderson from last time. He was with me. He helps me with the kind of data and the facts of the Transportation Benefit District, which is what we're going to talk about here today. Today, again, is I really don't need any action from the council or the mayor. This is more informative. The purpose of today is to give you more information about the benefits as we see it for Transportation Benefit District, and specifically for Ione, the benefits that you would receive to join in that district. I won't go through, I think Jared's presentation will kind of give an overview of what that is. I also brought with us today Carol Richardson, our new Public Works Director. Some of you might remember Craig Jackson was here before. She is Craig's replacement. And so far, she's done a great job of that, I will say. So she's here for questions and whatever you need for that. So I'm gonna let Jared start.
Okay. Well, first of all, let me pass out some literature to all of you. This is just, it's a lot of the same information as we had last time I passed out. The difference now is that we have some data for the 2025 sales tax data. So we've updated that, and that you'll find on the back, and we'll get to that in our presentation. And we've also framed this a little bit more about what towns, what the TBD has to offer towns, and more about your perspective. Kind of framed it around that, especially up here in the North County. So I'll share our screen here.
Yeah, I don't know what I gotta do, but if you do something that cues me to hit a button,
Yep, I'm gonna send you a request. I just wanted to make sure that we got our faces out there for everyone to see. And
okay, I just hit allow.
yes, and I will share.
And I'm handing out the data they've got on the back of this form here. This data that I'm sending around is some stuff I downloaded from the Department of Revenue. You can pass a copy down, Joe.
Oh, okay.
Just take one and pass them down, just so the council can see what sort of tax revenue each of those entities has. And then in the far right-hand column, I called it TIB because I thought it was Transportation Improvement something, but it's actually the TBD. And it looks like our numbers matched up pretty close, but just for the sake of argument.
Yeah, and there is some, a little bit of overlap. This is definitely not a TIB replacement or having any duplicative effort. It's no TIB. I can see where the confusion might lie with that, but this is definitely to help you unlock the door a little bit more to having TIB help out. So I know that they're working on this street out here in the coming years, but what we can do with this is to help you to develop your transportation plan, your local plan, have that ready for the transportation benefit district. So Without further ado, we all kind of know why we're here, so this is the same presentation that I gave to you all before, so I'm going to fast forward if that pleases everyone. Why we're here, of course, if anybody doesn't know, you can see our roads collapsing around us in some places, distress in pavement, so on and so forth. In your own town, I know you have a problem with sidewalks here. So these are all allowable uses that would be covered under the Transportation Benefit District. So your public expects better out of you, and as we know, budgets are unpredictable, grants come and go, and there's just no clear, reliable funding source available. So that's why we're here in Transportation Benefit District, authorized by RCW 36.73. That outlines what the benefit district can do, and somewhat, outlines what the allowable uses are. That's also what I brought to you on your sheet, and what we've had a lot of questions from towns about is what can we use this for? What is allowed, what isn't allowed? And it goes into several of those things, and we'll have some room for questions at the end here. So our model, and you can see that on the back page there, is a purely population-based model. So it would be divided out by the population of the town. And in your case, let me follow along here, is that the town of Ione, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, has a population of about 430, right? So that's about 3% of the county. So out of the entire sales tax revenue of the county, you would receive 3.1% of that. So pretty straightforward, very simple to follow, very easy to audit. Again, here's the slide. This is exactly what you're seeing on the back of your handout, and for anyone following us at home, this is how it would break down.
So quick question on that particular point. If all of these jurisdictions have it appears that all these jurisdictions have some form of a sales tax component already, and which is what I derive my numbers from, why wouldn't you just use the sales tax numbers rather than the population as a percentage of the county population?
So you're saying divide it up by the revenue,
The actual revenue gained in your town.
Right.
You want to tackle that, or do you want me to?
you go ahead.
Okay. I believe if you look closely at this, by basing it on population, the towns will gain revenue, except for the town of Newport. Newport is very clearly going to lose revenue under our proposed model. And so.
Well, they don't lose revenue because they're not getting this revenue now.
Right.
It just
correct.
means that under this model, it would be less.
If they created their own transportation benefit district with their own sales tax increase, they would probably get more revenue. But they would have to go through that process of creating the district, and they would also have to undertake the administration of that district. This is a model that we've proposed. There are other structures that we could propose, but we've talked about it. We feel like this is the most collaborative. In my opinion, the small towns will gain from this. You could do the same. We could base it on where those, you're exactly right, Dan. Each one of these is a taxing district. And we could say, okay, you're going to have exactly what you take in. I feel like in the case of Newport, the rest of the town would lose and they would gain. In the case of these other small towns, it's about equal, or perhaps they gain a little bit, depending on whose projections are exactly right. There's not a big difference. I don't know if that answered your question. It's a valid question, and it's debatable which is best.
Thank you.
Any more question about the revenue? We can definitely come back to this.
Do you want one of these? He's got it. I was gonna give him mine, but you have his.
We're on the back side. Okay, this is, what can you use the funds for? The spirit of this TBD is essentially to help with pavement preservation. That's the county's focus, but I know that there might be other priorities for the towns, such as your pedestrian infrastructure. That can include curb, gutter, sidewalks, and so forth. The one exclusion, and this is where we talk about transportation infrastructure that it would not cover, would be any sort of transit infrastructure. Everything else is on the table. So that can include, your resurfacing. I know that you get help from that through TID, but this would be in addition to any of that. Routine maintenance, any bridge rehab, minor rehab, sort of things. I think of a really good case for this is talking about where our truck route is in town. That might be a certain thing you want to address. There's several other examples, I'm sure that they're right on top of your brain. The one thing that I think is less understood, but should be mentioned, is how you can use this for your planning purposes and to leverage. So what I mean by leveraging is any voter issued approved for revenue-backed bonds. There's a whole section in the RCW that talks about issuance of bonds. This money could be used to service any bonds that you would pass. Additionally, you can use this for specific projects in the formation of local improvement districts. If you have any questions on those, there's quite a bit of literature out there, but I can answer any questions, and I'll leave my contact information with you. And again, it can also be used for any grant funding that you apply for. It's totally allowable to use it for your match funding. And then last, I'm kind of reading this list backwards because I wanted to come back to planning here at the very end. And this is going to be an important component to help this Transportation Benefit District Committee board form and operate efficiently, is to have a clean transportation plan. And I know when we hear the word plan, it seems arduous to develop a plan, but one of the things I believe that Commissioner Smiley and I have discussed amongst others is the idea of shared resources. So the county would, in addition to the I know they offer this service to you, is to help you to develop your transportation plan. So simply, this could look like, what are your priorities in the town? What are some things that you wish to accomplish? And the board would help to prioritize those and approve those projects. That's just one way that the board could operate.
I'll just stop you right there. County has staff. I've been in your guys' shoes. I know what it's like. Be on council in a small town. There's your staff. Okay? and his idea of planning is, I think this is falling apart over here. I better get to it. County has staff. This lady right next to me has years of professional experience in transportation planning. And that was what she did in the private sector even for transportation planning. And by joining part of this, we can make those planning services more collaborative in the whole county, hopefully, if we can get the whole county to join into this. We can have a really professional level, even transportation improvement plans. We can help you with those kind of things on a professional level. And that can be part of this, part of what you would gain by being part of this.
Thank you, Brian. Yeah. Now, the clock is starting to tick on the general election coming up in November. Where we are right now is to, in the very first step that you see here, we're still engaging the towns, we're bringing you new information, and we've already had a nod from the council and the mayor before to proceed with drafting an MOU. That is in progress development. So we hope to see that here in the near future to bring that before you, and that starts the negotiation for what the terms of the TBD are going to be. This will be issued to all the towns, they'll all be separate agreements, but hopefully there's some consensus that can be made between all of them. And then the next component is that we have to roll this out to your constituents. We have to get this out to the voters and educate them about it. That process would take place over the summer, and hopefully we can get this on the general. Again, we've asked you for this and you've answered. This was strictly an informative session for you, answering some lingering questions about what are allowed uses, and kind of the breakdown and the governing structure of the board that we have to form. So with that, I would open up the floor to anyone in the audience or anyone on the council. So thank you.
Thank you, Jared. Council, anybody? One of the questions I've got is that many of these boards, districts, local things, once the genie is out of the bottle, there's no putting it back in. And sometimes you may not really get a good feel for how things work until it's actually in process. And I'm not saying that I would be one to do this. I know my feeling is that you need all your information before you jump in, because it's always hard to jump out. But would there be considered some sort of an off-ramp or escape hatch if a particular entity, and quite frankly, I don't know why anybody would want to jump out after they're in, but I'm just wondering if that has been considered.
Great question. So the answer.
And maybe the reason that somebody would opt out is, for instance, if Newport starts out in this,
Right.
and then decides to go their own way, that's a pretty significant impact on the TBD, or could be, maybe not, could be. So just wondered if that had been talked about.
So one piece, I think you have something to add, Brian.
Go ahead.
Is that TBDs expire after 10 years.
That's right.
Yeah, so, and that is the maximum allowable term that for the benefit district. After that time, then you can put it back out as a ballot measure and renew that if you wish. But you can also set the duration of it as well. You can set the term, say you want it for 5 years, 3 years. Yes.
And the TBD will be, it's voted on by all the voters.
The tax, sales tax increase is voted on by all the voters.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think the term is in the resolution and in the MOU that the council and the mayor would approve. That term, I think, would be spelled out in there. But yeah, it does expire. The ones I've seen, if you I've done a little bit of research on the ones around the state, a lot of them have expired. Some of them, a lot of them, frankly, have never gone far enough to come up with a funding mechanism. They created them, the ballot measures failed, and they've never gone that far. So this is a process to get it. But yeah, they do expire. I think that would be part of the reassurance there, Dan.
Okay.
So Brian, what's your expectations on this? Do you think this is something that Andre County is going to pass?
I think the sales tax increase, I think we can pass it. provided the towns and the councils are behind you. One of the reasons I'm here today is exactly what you just articulated, Dan, is I want everybody to understand going forward as much as we can about this, so that we don't get down the road and then we're all fractured.
Right.
But we all understand going forward, if I got every council member in this county and every mayor in this county behind this 100%, and an understanding of the sales tax, yes, I think it would pass. We're not gonna do nothing with property tax. And the hospital is trying to increase the bond. We will see how that goes in Newport. If you look at the winds are not going real well for them.
Right.
But sales tax is a little bit more, and I know I talked to you guys about this before. I feel sales tax is doable. I feel sales tax broadens the burden to people beyond our property owners, even beyond our residents, and I feel like it's a small thing. So yes, if we do it, I can tell you there's a lot of communities that tried that haven't done it. But again, as I told Dan last time, I'm one of those people that's going to do something, I'm going to talk about it. And I'm also the type of person that comes up with solutions. We all know what the problem is. How about we work on some solutions? And so I say it's worthwhile to try. The commissioners will pay for about the cost of putting it on the ballot. So, it's not going to cost the town anything to put it on the ballot. We're going to pay for the effort for that part of it. So, yeah, I think we can.
Good.
But, I'm defectively optimistic, so. Other questions? Wow, we must be have saturated the information here.
There is a lot of information to take in,
Yeah.
But over the period of time, I had questions last time you brought it up, and I'm pretty good with saying that I'd go for it.
And I understand perfectly, you guys, you're not gonna absorb all this every single time.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why I talked to Derek, we're gonna come back. As we learn more, we're gonna try to come back and back and back. And I think that's how we all move forward together.
Yeah.
I don't want any surprises,
Right.
okay? I wanna try to avoid as many surprises as we can. And then when they come up, we'll resolve them as a community. I think that's part of the process I'm really looking for, is some collaboration and some sharing of revenue, especially the staff and expertise. To me, that's really important. I know how small towns struggle with staff and expertise. They're doing the best they can with what they have.
Right.
But we really do have some good staff in the county and some good expertise. We don't quite have enough money. So,
None of us do.
Yeah, right.
I have a question. If I so. Isn't property taxes used partially to pay for roads?
yes.
Are we not paying enough taxes to cover roads?
Take your, partly, take your property, you're absolutely right. Take your property tax statement out, take a look at it, find the road levy on there. Look at what it is. You're gonna see it's a small portion of what you pay in property tax. But the straw that broke the camel's back, we all pay a lot in property tax. Everybody's got a little portion of that. I think road funding, and Carol can maybe speak to this more, a lot of road funding comes from the gas tax. I'm gonna try not to get too agitated about that, and whether we get our fair share of those gas taxes. I would argue we do not get our fair share of those gas taxes in this state, especially rural counties. Your point is right. You're paying for the tax there. It's not enough.
Well, obviously, it must not be enough if we're proposing something like this.
Yeah, in Washington State, your property tax is capped on how much local governments get every year. What is it?
The 0.1 is how much the increase can be.
Right, how much the increase could be. It's like 0.1%. Well, look at inflation for the last 4 years. It's inflation, costs of us doing business are going like this, and our revenue is going like this.
We're having to do it with less people.
And we're having to do it with less people.
I get that.
And I totally get it, all our property taxes are absurd. It's absurd.
It is absurd,
I
yeah.
know mine went up a lot.
Yeah, yeah, and it's hard to keep the property. I have people talk to me all the time, what do you mean the county's broke? You should be having a windfall. And I can tell you, and I'm here to tell you, no, we're not. Hey, no, we're not. And our revenues are, like I said, and the costs are, and those two lines are getting further apart as we protect them into the future. And that's why I say I'm the kind of person, I want to do something about that. I want to solve that problem now. Otherwise, we're going to be taking roads out. We're going to be reducing staff further. We're going to do what the public asks us to do. And if this doesn't fail, if this doesn't pass, if it fails, we're going to make adjustments. And we're not going to go in debt. We can't go in debt as a county. We're going to pass balanced budgets.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? Well, thank you, Commissioner and Jerry. And
This was excellent, thank you.
I do have one
I'm
question.
sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Carol.
Carol.
Richardson.
I know I read the announcement when you were hired, so welcome and congratulations. And I've got a pothole up there on Cedar Creek Road. It's as big as a swimming pool, and they're driving into my yard to avoid it. So I'm gonna be going down and seeing Paul this week and see if they can get that road graded.
And at some point, we may be doing some work on that Cedar Creek Bridge too. That's kind of in our plan, so.
We have money, funding for it.
Yes,
Federal funding for
federal
that.
funding for that bridge, so.
Yeah, good.
So Cindy had
I
a
have a
question.
question, so, because this is pretty detailed, I mean, you came to us twice, so we understand it a little bit more, but how are you gonna get it across to the public to get the votes?
Great question. We're formulating a public outreach plan. What that looks like, I imagine is some town halls. I imagine there'll be a social media component of it. I imagine there'll be a print component of it. But that is a great question. And our time is a little tight.
Can I recommend maybe for the elderly and the disabled Zoom, having them
And
a
I think
Zoom?
that the kind of things we're gonna face is just like the gentleman here in his question. I think that's a legitimate concern from people. Don't I pay for this already? Go fill up the gap. Don't I pay for this? And absolutely true. And so we're upstream. My answer to the public is gonna be, you tell me what you would like me to do. I'm telling you, there's not enough revenue to continue maintaining the roads that we have like we have here. I'm telling you that that's going the wrong direction. Do you trust me or not? Because I'm telling you it is. What would you like me to do? And that's how I'm going to project them to the public. You decide. You decide. I think we're all tired of having things pushed on us, but that's a great question. I think there will be a component. We're working on kind of a plan for that right now.
And at some point, Jared, if you want to send us this in a PDF or something,
Absolutely. I have brought plenty of copies if I can leave them with you.
yeah, we can post it, and we're getting ready to launch our website here, and that's one of the things that we would put on our website, under some banner. But, well, thank you. Anything else? We'll move on.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys.
Okay. The next item on the agenda, you guys are gonna slide out of here. We're gonna slide out of here before we get to before we get to the item where we're gonna ask the county for money.
We'll see how that goes for you.
That's why they're leaving.
I brought these to distribute. What's your name?
Okay, you can put them on the
What's your last name? You look familiar.
I've been up here.
All right, so the next item on the list is a proposed resolution number 04-2026. And this is a continuation of the myriad pieces of paperwork that are required to get our grants and money from the federal government to complete our projects. And this one is for the runway and taxiway rehab project, basically the crack sealing and chip sealing. And this resolution will basically establish our commitment to fund our share of this grant, which is currently at $7,052. And this was budgeted for in the 2026 budget. I believe it was a few $100s less, so at some point or another, when we actually have to appropriate the money, and depending on whether or not I can squeeze the money out of those 0.09 grants from the county, we may have to adjust that amount. But this is what we need to make sure that we get the grant money from the state. And I would ask for your motion to consider resolution number 04-2026.
So moved.
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you very much. The next item on the list, we don't have an actual vote on it, but I wanted to bring it to your attention and ask for your feelings about this. There's a program that the feds and the state administer called Opportunity Zones. And I was going to print you out an FAQ on it today, and the FAQ is like 9 pages long, and it's kind of a mess. But what an opportunity zone is the feds have designate areas across the country where we are considered, where it would be considered like an impoverished tract. So it's an area of the country where people are living below the median income level. And so the feds designate these census tracts. And for instance, in our case, all of North Pondere County is one of these census tracts. Then within that census tract, it's up to people to identify opportunity zones and basically nominate areas to be opportunity zones. And the opportunity zones, if they get approved by the governor, these opportunity zones can encourage investment, because there's some pretty good investment tax breaks for people that, for instance, if we were to make all of Ione an opportunity zone, which is what we could do, and let's say an investor had money to build an apartment building, he might be able to come into town and build a brand new set of apartments and get enough tax break on it that makes it worthwhile for him to do that, and we would gain the benefit of the economic development. The grocery store, I mean, it's not, I don't know if it's still for sale or anything like that, but, if somebody said, gee, I want to come in and buy a grocery store and rehab it, and, it'd be, whatever it is, potentially a project like that, if they do it under this opportunity zone, it could be some real good tax breaks. But they can't do that unless an actual opportunity zone is created. And my proposal would be, and I talked a little bit about this with Jessica Garza with the Pondere Valley Railroad. My proposal would be we could submit an application to have all of the town limits of Ione designated an opportunity zone. Potentially, we could look at both the town limits and the urban growth area around the town, which includes like the Chippewa area and that sort of thing. So potentially, they could be, it wouldn't just be the residents of the town, but they could be included in that. And that's one of the things that they kind of encourage in there, is that if you're contiguous with another area, try and join forces. Well, there is no political subdivision to work with over there, except maybe the county. So if we said we wanted to include all of that, it just might need a little sign off from the county. So it's one of those things that we could nominate the town of Ione to do that, you know, the town limits of Ione or the UGA as well. And then it's got to be selected by the governor to actually be an opportunity zone. And then that opportunity zone designation lasts for some period of time. They used to have deadlines on it, and now they seem to have taken the deadlines off. And again, it's just one of those things that, you know, I have no idea what it could mean for us, but if we don't try, you know, there is some land around Ione, the Vaughan property. You know, we've got like even the motel property up there along the river, you know, and they've been trying to sell it. You know, who's to say that an investor wouldn't come in and say, man, that's a pretty spot on the river, and it's already zoned for a hotel. Why don't I buy that and fix it up? Or, you know, you just never know what they might do. Ideally, for me, you know, I think it would be, you know, somebody that wanted to come in and build a couple townhomes to rent. You know, there's nothing really to rent around here, or apartments. And so anyway, I don't have an actual grant or a designation application completed yet. I just started on it, but I didn't want to get too far on it without having a feeling of the council as to how you would feel about that. I don't think there's a real downside, but, you know, there's already enough literature out there that says we're a disadvantaged area. I don't think if we get designated as an opportunity zone, it's gonna, you know, it should be a plus.
It should be a plus, because that's what New Health did. That's how they're getting a lot of their grants, is because they're going into these rural areas like this, because you're considered frontier, and that's way out there, and you can get money. So I think it's a good idea to do something like that.
Yeah. The application's gotta be in by the 28th, and I'm reasonably sure I can get that application done and in. And like I say, it doesn't commit us to do anything, and it may not get chosen, but.
You don't know if you don't try.
You won't, you won't get chosen if you don't ask. So
Right.
No, I
if
think
there's no objection from the council, I'll just make that happen, and then we'll see what happens from there.
So how did you find this, Dan? How'd you find out about this?
It's, you know, the million emails I get from the Department of Commerce, and also Jessica Garza sends out information from the Economic Development Committee for the county. So she's been a great source of information, and I'm still working on those .09 grants to get our money back that we're spending on the airport. I'm really gonna chase that hard, because, you know, as Ken will report later, he's already reported, you know, we're kind of underwater at the airport as far as revenue and the money to do this, so.
Well, and I think we should do that also for the HVAC system, but I don't do grants, so I would get you whatever information you need.
Yeah,
I mean,
you probably already have all the information, and, you know, if
we just don't have a formal proposal yet. That's just kind of been on hold, because we've been kind of waiting to see what was gonna happen, but we can get that.
yeah, and obviously we can submit for something, and if they approve it, and then we don't need it because whatever it is didn't happen, that's,
Right.
you know, so, okay, I'll make it happen. The next item under new business is a position descriptions for the clerk, treasurer, and deputy clerk, which you should have those in your packet also. And at some point, I will ask the council to do some sort of a formal approval of the positions, but Sandy put these position descriptions together, And we wanted you to have them to look at and chew on and see if we're missing anything. And then at a future date, when we have a chance, Sandy and I have our sights set on some updates to the personnel manual. And I would anticipate that we will need an ordinance to approve those things, and these will be part of it. But since we're in the process of trying to identify a person to hire,
It looks like Miss Sandy's the only one qualified.
I'm sitting too close to her, she will hit me. I will not respond to that.
All right, Major Net.
I am a major nutter. So anyway, that's what the issue is, or that's what that item was for. If you have any questions or suggestions, please do not hesitate to let us know. The last item under new business is, I've talked about this a couple times, and I would like to talk about conducting a strategic planning and financial / budget session sometime toward the end of June. And Sandy and I are still working out a little bit of the details, but, and I wanted to mention it tonight, and I would really like to hear your thoughts on the process. What I'm planning to do is, it would be, first off, it would be a SWOT session. So SWOT is a process, it's an acronym for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So as a group, and we would be doing this in a public meeting setting, so there would be members of the public invited, and I probably would go twist some arms of getting some people here that need to be here. But that SWOT session is where we would sit down and we would talk about what are the strengths of Ione, what are the weaknesses, what are the opportunities, what are the threats, and based on those sorts of things, then we might have some ideas of how to implement them. So for instance, a strength would be, we have a great park. We have a great waterfront park. And so then we'd say, how do we use that? What do we do to leverage that strength, into some of the other stuff that we do? What would be some of the weaknesses? What's a weakness that the town has? Well, maybe it's revenue, and we talk about what we can do to help that. What are the threats? When you're talking about a business, when you do this in a business session or a business setting, you're talking about, your competition or your loss of market share or, regulatory changes. So threats are a little bit different from a municipal standpoint. But it's one of those things where when you get done with the exercise and then you move into planning some objectives and some goals for the next year, it really kind of helps you because, you identify what you're good at. Then you talk about the objective, what you're good and you're not so good at. Then you talk about your objectives. Well, if all your objectives are geared toward what you're already good at and you're not helping the things that you're not good at, you might need some adjustment. And then we would move into the financial aspects. And for the budget this year, I know that in past years, the budget process has been relatively simple. That is that there was a limited amount of information that was basically asked for from the commissioners. The commissioners would give information to John or to the clerk in a somewhat casual manner, and sometimes that information didn't end up in the right place where we could use it and we could actually plan for it. And then a few weeks before it had to be approved, a budget would appear in front of you at a meeting, and you probably felt like you were under the gun to pass a budget, because if we didn't, you know, we'd be like the TSA or whatever. And I don't want us to be there this year. I really wanna, I've talked with Sandy about this a lot. I think we have, she and I have some consensus on some things that we want to make more visible to you in that budget and how we can do it. And part of that will be, is you'll get budget worksheets at this planning meeting, where you're gonna be able to start putting stuff on this budget worksheet. You know, for instance, in the office, all the computers need to be replaced. So, under office admin, you know, we'll list items like that. There's gonna be certain things like cleaning supplies and the analytic testing that Roger does, you know, on water and sewer, that, you know, those sort of things, we don't need to scope those out intensively. But there's other things like, you know, the plans that Paula had last year for, you know, ICC maintenance, and, you know, plans that we may have for street maintenance. And, you know, there's things that don't come up every year. You know, maybe there's a road sign replacement project. Maybe we want to try and buy one of those flashing speed limit signs. We don't have any opportunity to do that unless we can, you know, flash it into the budget and then see where it ends up. And so that's where I want to take the process, but we do need to schedule a meeting for this. And so when I have a chance to talk with Sandy about it a little more, what I would do is I might just send you an email or something and say, here's some dates, tell me which ones just don't work for you, and we'll figure it out from there. I don't want to take up, you know, a whole grinding day of misery trying to go through 27 pages of numbers or whatever. I really want this to be something that, you know, can give you some stuff. You know, you might have a little homework out of it, is what I'm saying. You know, you bring your budget sheets in, and when you get your budget sheets and you give them to Sandy and I, then we can work on putting that into hopefully what you will see is an actual working budget that says, you know, Cindy wanted $3,000 to put in a new flagpole and Veterans Memorial thing in the park or whatever. And she'll see that in the budget, and it won't be hidden in some department somewhere. So, and your suggestions as we go through there are extremely important, and it's also important that we're transparent with the public, so whoever we can get to come in and talk to us about that will be helpful.
Why don't we advertise somewhere that this is the most beautiful land and get all the rich people to move up here? Put it out there.
Well, that, you know,
They're on the river.
unfortunately, yeah, most of them go over on the river, and so I think what we just need to do is we just need to annex all of Pondere County north of Cusick,
Yeah, right.
and just call it Ione.
Musk.
I own this.
Muskie.
I'm getting tired of driving to Newport.
If any of you have any questions, don't hesitate to call, you know, and suggestions about this budget thing. I personally, you know, I got handed a budget about 2 days after I took office, and then we had to get it approved. So unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to really acquaint myself with it much, but Sandy is obviously been through the drill a number of times, and we'll make it happen.
Seems like she might have it down by now.
Yeah, I got a few years' experience.
Any questions on that? All right, moving on to staff reports. First up will be the treasurer with our financial report. We are not.
I just handed this out and then I talked to you guys before the meeting, so it sounded like you wanted that cash flow report. You like that one the best? Okay. So you'll get this once a month and then I'll do that cash flow report once a month also and distribute that to you guys. And then I'm there if you ever have any questions or need more detail. Send me an email or come in and see me.
So looking at the overall numbers, and again, Sandy and I are gonna continue to work on the financial presentation to be a little more plain language, but the total, the number that I will often look at here is this total fund change, for instance, from the end of March to the end of April. It looks like we are up $34,000. So, but I'm just talking about the total number there. And like I say, we're going to do a couple things to make the report much more readable and also much more presentable to the public. On the administration reports, do you have anything you want to report, Sandy?
Not really, I'm just working on the annual report that needs to be done by next Friday, submitted. So, busy.
So Sandy is being very humble in that she has really been burning the candle at both ends, and what I need to report to the council is that our 2024 report had errors. And Sandy's just about got 2024, well, you did get 2024. She reopened up 2024 with the auditor's office and corrected it.
That's all corrected.
And it's all corrected. So the 2024 annual report is corrected. So now she's moved to the current reporting year, which is 2025. And there are, I wouldn't call them just material discrepancies. I'm not sure what the financial lingo is, but it's a lot of stuff that wasn't entered right. It was put in the wrong spots.
It's just balancing.
And balancing.
We've got the treasurer's receipts all balanced through September of 25. We're still haven't balanced September, October, November, December yet. And it isn't that there was errors or theft or anything like that. It's just, you can't just put something in bias. You have to also make sure that all of these electronic payments that we're getting into the bank, great, the bank has the money, but we also have to put it in bias so that the funds match. And that's all I'm doing. There's just a couple deposits that wasn't put in the financial system, so I'm going back to try to find them. So.
Good work.
And we've got,
It's quite a chore.
we've got an audit scheduled for this year, or it's going to be scheduled, is that correct?
Yeah, as soon as we get the annual report done and it's submitted to the state auditors, then we let the Spokane office know that we're all done, and then they'll schedule it. It's usually in September or October.
So kudos to Sandy for catching this, because it definitely would have been caught in the audit. It's a lot of work for her, and we have had Donna May work some extra days because it's hard to run the vessel or vehicle licensing desk and have your head in the accounting numbers. So also Donna May has been helping with that extra time. Anything else, Sandy?
Mm-mm.
Good evening, Mr. Rice.
So official.
Oh, we got done with the discharging, so we've started, pumping down cell one, so we can have Dawson out there hopefully in a couple of weeks. Put in that new pipe, and we need to get it lifted off the bottom so that the sludge don't get pile up at the end of it. And there, we got a water leak at Bog, and that'll be getting fixed next week. And the concrete slab in behind the grocery store, it's scheduled to get done next Monday and Tuesday. That's scheduled to be done. And if you notice today, come down, got the street swept today. People did really good actually getting out there and getting the cars moved. All the gutters are cleaned, and I thought they did a really good job. It looks good. Going around town, and now it's grass cutting season every other day, so doing a lot of grass mowing and clipping. That's what we've been doing.
Was it you or Tom? Maybe Cindy knows the answer to the question. Who started weed eating on the terrace over there at the park? Was that you or Tom?
Me and Tom, yeah.
Okay. So they got part of it done, I think. So.
I know some of the community people have been bringing their clippers down, cutting the trees that have got the
Suckers?
nukes, yeah, coming out, and they've been trimming on those, so.
Yeah.
Guess when you walk your dog, bring your clippers.
Walk your dog, bring a rake.
Yeah.
Right. Bring your kids, bring a rake.
Yeah.
In your poop bag.
Yeah.
Anything else, Roger?
I don't know, but I've been out there for cut some more trees. There's very many left along that fence line. Got that big pile out of there.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you. And of course, on the 28th, Ken and I are planning to attend the pre-construction meeting for the helipad work. And it's 1 o'clock next, what is that, Wednesday? 1 p.m. next Wednesday in Town Hall here. We'll probably be in the conference room over there. The pre-construction meeting for the helipad. So, and I didn't forget you, I did get the specifications for that job. I know you and I talked about what they were actually going to be doing out there, and it's a lot of pages. So I'll have that there. Whatever, you know, they are redoing the lighting on the helipad, all that stuff is gonna get redone. All right. Council reports, Mr. Sturba.
We got a lot going on, but I haven't anything to report to the council. The one thing I would like to ask for is that my name be put on the JES account, the surplus vehicle.
Okay.
I don't think there's.
What do they call that? The DES account?
DES.
We found the file the other day.
Oh, good.
I told Sandy,
PPS.
we're gonna need that file.
Yeah, because then that'll open up a lot of doors, I think, as far as me looking at things, and, because I haven't, like I was telling you, I haven't looked at anything yet. But once I get the ability to be able to do something, when I find something, that would help. So, that's all I have.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Ms. Sturba.
Well, I'm kind of like Joe, the last 2 weeks have been pretty hectic in our life, so not a lot has got done. But I think the only thing that I have a question about, and I'm wondering if the town can do something about it, is on the, and I've talked to the street commissioner about this several times, but on, there by the apartment building over on Houghton, along there where all that grass grows up between the pavement, there's gravel that's pushed up against there. That looks awful.
Which apartment building?
The little apartments over here on Houghton Street, the six apartments.
The blue ones?
Well, the one that
Dorothy
Dorothy runs.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, from that corner all the way up to Main Street, that whole area, there's grass like this. And I saw somebody that lives in one of the houses, he was kind of weed whacking some of the stuff down in front of his place. But it just seems like between the pavement and the sidewalk, the grass is tall. And it's like when you go down that street, it looks awful. So, and I don't know if you have to take a shovel to pick up that gravel and weed whack it or put some weed killer on it. But something, it's like every year that's never addressed. And it looks terrible. And I'm just wondering if the town can do something about that.
It sounds like it's in our right of way.
It's right, yeah, it's right on the street.
Between the road and
Alley
Yeah.
right there.
Okay.
Well, no, this is right on the highway, this is right on Houghton Street. It's right along the sidewalk. It's our pavement of the street goes up to it. There's a whole bunch of gravel in there, and there's grass like this that's growing above the sidewalk.
Okay.
Just turn and go down and look along the road right there, the street, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's like there's dandelions and weeds, and I think that's about the only one that I really notice in town that does that. We had some over here, but I weed whacked the crap out of that, so I think I got it to stop here. But that over there, every year it does that, and that's a main thoroughfare down there, and I think that should be cleaned up. So
Okay.
I was about ready to go do it myself. Sorry, Roger, but it was like, this looks awful. So my report's on the streets. But
Doubling down on.
Yeah, exactly.
But as far as the community center, it's like things are, I mean, gonna be honest, we're switching over to Medicare and had a huge amount of tests to do. And we've been in Spokane, I think, probably the last 10 days. So we'll get going and get the stuff done around here. And then, but I do want to see what we can do about that grant and see if that's something that we can do. And then we need to try to get the sidewalks done, I think is the next thing. And then the one other thing that I found out was PUD is willing to write a letter for the town of Ione for insurance purposes with this grant, or with not the grant, but the generator, explaining to the insurance company how, because of the process of how they keep the power going in the loop, that the most that this building would probably ever be down would be 2 hours. And maybe that would help kind of ease it, so they'll let up on having that generator.
That isn't, I'm not worried about that, that's.
Well, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I think that that's something that we need to put into place, and, yeah, it doesn't hurt to have that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get that, the guy was gonna get the letter emailed over to me, so that's all I have.
Okay. Ms. Smith,
I left a message with Z&Z to see if they had a piece of equipment that they would like to donate, but they'd probably like to drive it to help move the rocks, because I don't know how busy you are. I heard that PUD does have an overabundance of those rocks. I'm going to personally take a thank you card down, and then I'm going to turn around and ask them for more rocks. So I want to pick 3 colors for the painting. I guess the only day Sandy was not in the office last week is the day I went.
When Joe went too?
Yeah,
Joe went come down too?
yeah, Donna was there, and so I didn't do anything I was gonna do. So I will come in and work on the flags and that, the signs and that. I had the VA this Friday where I volunteer, and I was gonna go to the veterans-owned flag and flagpole place and just price what they have. I think they're a little bit higher than what we could get out of
I
it.
gave you a catalog.
Yeah.
I
So,
buy my stuff from the American Legion.
well, I can go on the American Legion because I
Legion
have a
flag, but I
number,
don't
so
know
I
if they
can.
have poles, but I buy the flags there.
Yeah, I don't, the emblems themselves are a little messed up right now. They took a dive, but they're trying to pull back out of it, but, yeah. So that, and I want to get the signs up. I want to get a few more signs up that there is surveillance up. So I think that just knowing that signs there, maybe bad people might act a little better.
Well, at least it lets people see it.
Yeah, and I went down and looked at the stairs going down, and boy, that's a disturbance. So in my mind, I've got all these things going through my mind, but I probably need to talk to somebody that really knows what to do with them
You're talking about
stairs.
that retaining wall on the stairs?
Yeah,
Yeah, I asked Max Dunn to give us a quote for, because basically, I think we just need to take the rock out and replace it with a cinder block or something along there.
that's what I thought, even those, what are those blocks called, the big ones? That I was trying to get for the park, what are they called?
Eco block.
Rejoice.
Eco block?
Oh, eco block. Even if
Yeah,
you- I mean,
those are-
something that's not gonna cost 10 arms and 10 legs.
I think it's a big enough project, I think we can take our public works list and do an RFP and, just get some bids on it and see
Well,
where
I
it
was
goes from
even
there.
thinking the way Dawson did those net things with the chicken wire and they fill it with rocks, something like that, but you gotta have it so it anchors up there so good. And then I thought about, would it be worth it to rip it out and just put a ramp going down to the road?
You can just do regular railings too,
Yeah, I
the
mean,
whole
even that
idea
way,
is just,
something just simple and easy,
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
But, yeah, I was
I'll
a
put
little
that,
sad.
I'm gonna put that at the top of Roger's list.
Okay. I think railings, because you could mount it right into the cement pad if it's strong enough.
Yeah,
I think that might be an answer. Good thinking, Dan. You're the person I was supposed to talk to.
we'll see what shakes out on it.
Okay. But otherwise, that's all I have for now.
Thank you, Cindy.
Mhm.
And thank you for being the point person on that 9/11 ride. I think we could really use that because it ends up being kind of a big dead spot in our activities between Downriver days and snow.
Right.
There's not a lot going on.
And that's such a-
I think they do the boat races at some point,
Oh, the weekend after Downriver Days, I think.
or the weekend after.
Have they reserved, they change all the time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
around the 20th of August this year.
20th of August.
That's
So,
our
It's
weekend.
really impressive. I'm always working at the Tiger store when they do it, and they come down Tiger, and the first two bikes go out to the main road and they stop the traffic. And then they just flow right on through, and it's pretty impressive. And I think it'd be great to kind of bring the fire department, the town, the first responders, any first responders, and that all together. And because the more you work as a group, the better things will be. That's my own opinion.
agreed. Thanks, Cindy. Mr. Weiss.
As far as the airport, the lease agreements I've been going through came up with lots of numbers. I know last time I said I would have a report for everybody this meeting. Sorry, I don't. I will have it soon, and I will get it put in your box. Also, I have one last question, and is we a seasonal airport?
No, we're not.
That airport's open year-round.
Yep.
So my question is, which I know by the FAA, our lights should be changed out every winter to a taller stem. And I don't think that's been happening. Now, that's probably a good violation, I'm gonna guess. Not certain, but I'm gonna guess it's a violation.
Yeah, well, it's not, I've pulled all the advisory circulars on there, and it's not a violation, but if it's in there, it would be a recommendation. So, but that's something we need to get to the bottom of. You're right.
Yes, because it was a long time ago when I worked here, I had to replace them every year.
Yeah.
Come spring, take them out, put the short ones in. I just don't know why that had changed. Maybe their rules changed, I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
And as far as if the airport was closed seasonally, then that means the whole thing's closed. You ain't gonna put nothing on the helipad either. The airport's closed, the airport's closed.
Yeah.
So that's why I was asking.
Yeah, I just got like 498 pages of a FAA document that tells me all the things that we have to do and can't do because we received federal money for the airport. And, some of it's pretty obvious. You can't charge military for using the airport and stuff like that. But I'll definitely check into all of that. Just today, I filed the paperwork for me to be able to issue notice to airmen, because we're gonna have to issue a NOTAM when we start the work on the helipad, to warn people, pilots, about what's going on out there. And that has turned out to be a process. It's some outfit in Texas that's under contract with the FAA that does that stuff. So anyway,
Roger, do we keep that plowed out every minute?
Yeah, I go out when I can, I mean, I don't plow every time it snows, no.
One last
The
thing,
last 2 years I haven't plowed it, so.
It hasn't been
Which, to me, that's a problem, because a Learjet can land out there.
Yeah,
A
absolutely.
medical airplane can land out there, and if it's not plowed, you're
You
talking
can
about,
land in 2-3 inches of snow.
it still should be plowed. That should be a priority
You
too.
want town plowed, or you want the airport plowed?
Well, you
just
plow
let
them
me
both.
know.
I thought it had something to do with de-icing the runway. We don't have a de-icer.
No.
It just had to be plowed.
They send a helicopter.
We landed many Learjets here.
I was in one, yep.
Yes,
I
we
took a flight
did.
out of it, not yet in there,
Yes,
so
we
I know for
did.
a fact.
It's a nice sight to see.
One last thing, for council, I will get a copy of the lease agreement, so you can all read it prior to getting all these numbers I'm gonna get you, okay? But I urge you to read that lease agreement, because I think we could make some changes in that also. That's all.
thanks. Mr. Timber.
Yeah, I came in looking for other information and found out something else that really kind of bugs me. We need to reinstall or whatever, I don't know how they got rid of the conservation fee for the water. I don't know if it was done by resolution, ordinance, or what, but we need to revoke whatever it was. Because what's going on is people have leaks and they don't care because they're not paying. And I looked, the three biggest ones, one guy uses $131,000 a month, gallons a month. Another one uses 41,000 a month, and another one 49,000 gallons a month. And why fix a leak if you don't have to pay for it? Why bother?
Are you sure there are leaks?
Well, I'm gonna guess, I don't know anybody that would use 131,000 gallons. You know, and plus, if they're using 131,000 gallons, they should be paying for it.
Is it winter months or is it?
This was just last month.
Just last month.
Last month, so that's what I say, I mean, why fix it if you don't have to pay for it? And if you're using that much water, you damn well ought to be paying for it. If you're using 131 gallons for whatever, I don't care what it is, if you're using it, you need to be paying for it. And I've got another issue that I'm working at, as far as changing our fee schedule and that, which will make things, I think, a little more fair. But we need to get rid of that conservation fee, and these aren't the only three. These were just the three biggest ones.
Why, they're at 3 out of all the residents?
No, that's the three biggest ones.
The 3 biggest ones,
Yeah.
Why can't we just address those individually?
What are you gonna do? Go tell them they need to fix their
Well,
water?
do you know there are even leaks? They might not even
Actually,
be
one of
leaks.
them, Roger got me started on this, yes, one of them is a leak.
What's that?
I know 2 of them are leaks. They've been talked to. If it's a frost freeze, leaked for months.
Well, we have meters on those individual lines. If they know there's a leak, then we could go that process of saying something.
What are you gonna do? You can say something, but you can't. There's no ordinance that says they have to, if you're gonna charge them, you gotta charge them by the amount of water they're using. You can't just say, oh, you're using too much water, we're just gonna charge you a bunch of money.
Well, if I go over, I get charged, I don't understand.
Not
what
right
you're
now, you
saying.
don't, not right now, you
Because
don't.
the conservation was
Because they
voted
took out
on.
that conservation fee off, which I argued a while ago needs to go on there. But, I mean, that's a lot of water going, that's costing the town a lot of money. Or the water system a lot of money.
Can't you come up with a proposal to?
You don't think that costs the town any money, that water just going out?
What
It
about-
costs water to produce that water.
What about the amount of water that goes in, that we don't even know where it goes?
Granted, so since there's other deaths, might as well let the rest of it go?
No,
Well,
No.
this is my point, if that'll cut down some, I mean, there's over 200,000 gallons a month going out there that we're not charging for.
Can you not go to the people and say, have you gone to the people literally and said, hey, we believe you have a leak?
Roger has talked to them, he just said that, he's talked to them about it.
All of them or just one?
Two of them.
Just
Or-
one?
One
But,
that we talked to,
again, you can talk to them, if they don't have, if they don't get charged for it, why go to the problem of fixing the leak? I mean, before when we used to have just a flat rate, there was all kinds of people had leaks in town. Nobody cared, nobody did anything, and they knew they had leaks, they didn't care.
So
You
question.
don't believe that?
Question.
I know one
question.
person that had that in their backyard, that was me. I built a duck pond back there because I had water leaking and it didn't cost me anything, so I let it go and I had a duck pond. So don't tell me nobody's ever done that, because I did it.
So Roger, this person that has a leak that you went to and talked to, is it a financial situation?
no,
No, okay.
Just doesn't want to fix it, but yes or no?
Right.
Is it a major expense to fix it?
no. It's just a frost-free leak,
It's a what?
a frost-free.
Well, is it something that it would cost us much money to just go fix the damn
No, that ain't
thing?
right.
No, we don't do that, we can't go on somebody's property and fix it anyway. We
But the
can't
town
do
has
that.
done that.
If it's a situation
town
that
has
they just
done that.
can't do it or they don't want to do it, we need to find out exactly why.
I agree.
I can tell you why, because they don't have to pay for it and they don't have to pay for the water.
I don't
I don't
think
believe
So
that.
is that because you went directly, Ken, and asked him that?
No, I didn't ask
Okay,
them that,
that's
but.
hearsay and we can't go on
Okay,
hearsay.
so we don't worry about, we'll just forget that we're using 200,000 gallons of water a month.
Last year in August, the town had 3 million gallons unaccounted for.
Okay, so we
And the
shouldn't
town
start,
had no idea. It's
so we
like
shouldn't start
we-
getting rid of anywhere that we know where it's going? I mean, just
There's
because,
nothing wrong with finding out where water's going, but there was a lot of work put into changing from the conservation fee to an education
yeah, I
portion
know,
of that.
what's the education thing? Sending out a pamphlet once a year?
Twice. is
Oh,
what
twice
we've
a
done
year,
twice
okay,
a year.
that takes care of it.
Well, that satisfies the
It's an
state.
option, it's
Yeah,
an
that's an
option,
option,
and
yeah.
that's, and that is what,
Educate,
But
they're
I-
not
you weren't at all those
I
meetings.
know I
Ken.
wasn't here, that's why I asked if it was done by ordinance or resolution, because
It
that
was
was
done by a vote
of the council.
at the town council,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
it passed.
And it did, but it had to be either a resolution or an ordinance to do, you can't just say, we're doing this.
I don't know what Mike did.
Okay,
I don't know,
but
but
anyway.
it was voted and it passed.
People
And we
need to-
chose to take the conservation fee off
Yeah.
the businesses that had to stay because of how the water was being,
I understand that
apartments and
they, I
stuff,
understand they took it off of there. I'm saying it needs to go back on.
Well,
The people need to start paying for what they're using. No more free, get done with the free
the
water.
town of Ione gets
It's not free
27,000
water.
It is
miles
too.
worth of water.
Are you paying for it, Joe?
No.
No, then it's free to you. Just because I pay for it.
Joe and I extensively dug into this to find
Yeah.
out what the cost was per gallon. And actually, the town was ahead of the game of August that year, at the peak of our water season for everybody. The town was ahead of the game. The town was not losing any money
Okay.
whatsoever.
Okay, so you're gonna tell me that if the people didn't pay, if the people would have paid that conservation fee, there wouldn't have been any more money coming into town than there was? Is that what you're trying to tell me? That if people would have paid for their overage uses, that
At that
no
time,
more
we
water
were,
would have been coming?
and at that August, people were paying.
Well, and so that money was coming into the town then?
Basically,
So then you cut
for
off that
1
money?
year, it was less than $8,000 is what the town took in for the conservation fee. And that
That's
included the
$8,000.
businesses. By the time we broke it down, basically, it was about between $3,000 and $4,000 is what the town was making on conservation fees. As a council, we decided that because we live in a high fire danger area and people are losing their insurance and things are drying up and the town looks like crap because people don't water, they can't afford to water, that we chose as a council to stand up and say, you know what, we want our town to look nice. We're not losing money. We sat down, we looked at the chemicals, what was being used, we calculated everything out. And the town was ahead of the game.
When they were charging the fee? Well, you said when you did this, they were charging the fee.
You know what, Ken, I'm not gonna argue
Okay,
with you.
let's stop right here. And, Mr. Timrick, what I would suggest is we can get together, put together an issues list for the next meeting. If there's a motion or a course of action that we want to suggest, then we can propose that. Whether that's, we can also look into making sure that our rate adjustment was accounted for properly by ordinance, because we rely on the ordinance for the Chippewa contract, and I'm having enough trouble getting a meeting with them here lately. But why don't we do that, and then we can take this up at the next meeting, or at a future meeting. And I am in the process of trying to work through the quote-unquote water rate study to see if we're actually recovering enough money from the program to make sure that we're funding the capital end of things for major replacement. So.
Well, that's what I was doing when I ran across this, and I said, this is nuts, letting somebody use 130,000 gallons of water and not pay for it.
Yeah, there was somebody up on Riverside that used 47,000 in February, and I never got a clear answer on that either, but.
So Sandy, can I ask you, in the past, if somebody had a leak like that, did they have to pay for that water, or did the town allow for that leak and them not be charged?
They had to pay for it was on their bill and they had to pay for it. But if they could give us receipts to show that it was repaired, then we would give them their money back. But we do want those water
For 1
lines
month.
repaired at that time. And they could only do it like within a 2-month period. You can't come back 6 months and say, oh, I want 6 months back. We had a time frame on it.
The council did extensive research into this. And this is what happens when you get a whole new bunch of people back in. It's like, you just want to throw out everything that was done in the past. And I have a problem with that. So I'm going to tell you right now that even if you try to bring that conservation back in, it's going to be a no, because I know how much work went into all of us and all the times and all the meetings that we had in getting all this information. And we felt like we made a good decision for the town of Ione to help it look better, to give people an opportunity to water their yards. Now, some people have a little tiny yard, some people have a big yard, but the fact remains is that we are not without water. Our pumps are under the Ponderay River. We're not, if our wells go dry, the river goes dry. So we just felt as a benefit to the town of Ione to encourage people to take care of their places, to make things look better, let them water their yards, let them have their gardens, let their kids have pools.
You know, this is the thing, you say, you can water your lawn, have it green without overwatering. And people, when I was doing my walking last fall, I'd go by people, I'd be at 5 in the morning, the water, sprinklers going, water's running down the street. I don't know if they left them all night or got up at 3 in the morning and turned them on. But they're just watering because they can water.
So let's address those.
We went by.
All right, we're done. We're done on this subject. We gotta
This isn't gonna go well.
we gotta move along.
Yes, you do.
We gotta move along, and we'll take this up as a future business item. So I'm gonna close things out with my report, and I'm not gonna mention water. On the highway sign, we got the official approval from the county of the Hotel Motel Tax Board approving our grant for $19,000 and change to fund the highway sign. So I'm now working with the sign vendor to put together a few. You remember the top of the sign is a fixed graphic design, and I wasn't real crazy about the one that they did as part of their demo. So I'm gonna get them to put together some other options. They offer that graphics service, so I'm gonna give them some ideas, and we'll see what we come back. But they're in the process of getting that put together for us. On the phone system, you might remember that the previous clerk had done some work on a phone, getting a different phone system for town hall. I kind of inherited that project with a vendor who he had made some sort of commitment to that I really wasn't aware of. And that vendor has turned out to be kind of like dealing with a vacuum salesman or something, not to knock vacuum salesmen, but they're arrogant, and they gave me an ultimatum to sign the deal and do the installation, or they were gonna terminate the whatever agreement it was. And Sandy and I both said, okay, terminate it. So Spectrum was the name of that outfit, and so I'm not having any more conversations with them. I'm not saying that maybe in the future, but I really didn't get a very warm and fuzzy from them. So what I've done is I found out RTI has a business enterprise department, and they do VoIP too. In fact, I went over to Nikki's office yesterday and I talked with Nikki, and they've got VoIP in their office there. They don't use hard lines anymore. And so I said, well, I want to have your guy come over here and tell us what we can do to, I said, we don't need, you know, a big fancy system with lots of bells and whistles, but we need to be able to talk, have a conversation on the phone and answer another phone at the same time and put somebody on hold. And so anyway, that's where we're at with the phone system. We're kind of starting over, but I'm starting over with RTI, and we'll see what they can do for us. And we'll go from there. On our website, after a fair amount of mishmashing around on the website, you heard me say a couple times I had my buddy in Seattle that was going to help me build one and that sort of thing. Well, what I learned is that that would have worked, but it wouldn't have lasted long. And the reason is in 2027, the federal government is implementing some new standards for websites that have to be adhered to by municipalities. And this has to do with ADA and people with disabilities being able to use your website. And it's not end of the world stuff. Most websites are already compliant. But what I learned about this is that we just don't have, Sandy and I don't have the bandwidth to manage it. And I think the best thing to do was, we had money in the budget to have somebody do the website for us. So I have Municipal One is now on the hook doing our website. And they are the same people that do the City of Colville and several other places. If you go to the City of Colville's website, it's I think it's very good. It's very user-friendly. And then it's, the first year is $3,200, which was in the budget. After that, it's $100 a month, or $150 a month going forward. But the interface, and I was thinking about trying to demo for you tonight, but that would have probably ended miserably. But the interface is such that when we want to change something on there, like when we want to add our agenda and meeting minutes for the next meeting under the meetings tab, it's just drag and drop. It's really cool. So it's not a long-term commitment. You know, if we do it for a year and we don't like it, we'll find somebody else. But this Town Web or Municipal One, they specialize in doing towns and municipalities, and that's what they're geared around. And I think it'll be pretty impressive. And some of the things that are also available through there is mass messaging. So if residents want to, they can, or actually anybody can sign up to receive emergency messages or messages about what's going on in the town or whatever we decide we want to do for mass messaging. It has, again, agendas and meeting minutes, a repository of that stuff. It has the ability, it has a reservation system on it. For instance, for the Blue Room here, somebody can go on there, see what's available, make a reservation. The other thing that I think is kind of cool is it's got a calendar function. So we can actually put on the calendar, you know, things like these meetings and such. And if you don't remember what the meeting was, you don't have to search back through a mountain of notes. So anyway, I know this is something that we've talked about a lot. I know the council wants it done. We're gonna get it done. They've had our initial stuff for a week, and I expect by the end of next week, we'll have our first cut of it. And we'll definitely give everybody a look at it before we go live, but kind of exciting.
Yeah.
On the clerk position, the clerk position closes May 29th. And we have 7 applications, and Sandy and I will be reviewing those.
Recording stopped.
Sandy and I will be reviewing those applications next week. I don't have any, I reviewed the applications myself today. I don't have any of them that jump out at me as being, you know, exclamation points, but we need to do more review on it, so we'll keep you posted. I think we have talked about it a couple times, but the comprehensive plan update is underway. The technical advisory group meeting is next Tuesday from 1 to 3 p.m. in here. And that is that. I think we already talked a little bit about the helipad work, the pre-construction meeting Wednesday, May 28th, 1 to 3 here. The 0.9 grants that are available through Pondere County, I'm continuing to work on those grant applications. I'd hope to be farther along on it, but I just, some days are a grind. And I have been trying to arrange a meeting with Chippewa to talk about contracts, and I've heard crickets. So I finally reached out again. They also reached out to Sandy and Ken. I got a note back from Stacy that the earliest they can meet will be somewhere around June 2nd.
Stacy's in Italy.
And what's your point?
That's why you
She
can't.
should be working on it.
That's why I can't get until then.
So anyway, yeah, working in Italy.
Zoom it.
Zoom it.
So I think that's all. A question that Sandy and I need answered, and I don't know if we really need to go into executive session for this or not. You tell me. We need to set a floor for the bids for the surplus vehicles.
No, we don't need to go into executive session for that.
Pardon me?
We don't need to have executive session to do that.
Do you want to make a decision on that now? Do you want to talk to me about it later? She started drafting an ad to put in the paper to basically save it for sale. I took a look at the sweeper. There's like an auxiliary diesel engine and stuff on it. I mean, you know.
I would have no idea what the value would be, so, you know,
Yeah,
whatever.
I don't
Take a
know.
picture with Google, they'll tell you
Yeah,
if they do.
you know, I was thinking in the neighborhood of $1,500 for the sweeper, and, you know, $1,000 or $500 for the little flatbed. It's a flatbed with a water tank. Well, the water tank's worth $1,000 to go buy one of those. So, like I say, and it's a bid deal, so whatever the floor is really just the floor,
Yeah.
you know. Does that sound okay with you guys to go that way?
Yeah.
1,000 for the water truck and 1,500 floor for the sweeper?
Sounds good to me.
What do you think, Joe? You're the
Yeah,
commissioner.
no, that's fine.
You know, it's a floor, so, you know,
That's,
Does that seem reasonable, Roger? That equipment?
Well, yeah, I would actually think that the tanker should be turned around.
the
15 for the tanker and 1,000 for the sweeper. The engines are more or less shot in the sweeper and all that. The auxiliary one ain't too bad, but the tanker truck is actually, that's a good strong engine, that's a good truck.
okay,
It's just, we have no use for that. It's no good for the town, and the motor on the back ain't no good, that Volkswagen motor pump isn't no good. But the truck itself has a good motor in it, and it's not rusted, but the sweeper engine is, you know, it never, it's just terrible. And the auxiliary one has problems too, it does work, but to me, I think you get more out of the tanker truck than you can out of the sweeper truck.
Okay. And if we think of somebody we don't like, we can give them that Volkswagen engine.
Yeah.
Okay, 1,500 on the tanker and 1,000 on the sweeper, because the tank truck is really a flatbed with a tank strap on it, right?
Yeah, and it's,
All right. Then we don't need the executive session for that, and I'll close my report. And we will open our second public comment session here at 8:31. Does anybody in the public have anything?
I have a couple things.
Yes, sir.
I was questioning on the,
And can you give your name for our,
Don Lopes,
Don?
Lopes, Lopes.
Hi, Don.
It's not Lopez, like it used to be.
That's what I called you all the time at the mill.
With a Z on the end, but anyway.
Right.
The opportunity zone application that you were talking about earlier,
Yes.
would that have like a filter system of, you know, let's say some company wanted to come in and put in a new build somewhere, or McDonald's or whatever. Would the council sift through that and approve that? Or would it be open to the public to view what that proposal is for this company to come in, or what, you know?
Yeah, those opportunity zones, they just provide a tax break for the investment, and they still have to comply with all the other rules and regulations for doing it doesn't open the door for, you know, skirting those types of rules. It's just a tax break on the investment.
Okay, got it. And the other thing was, I'm representing the Ione Seventh-day Adventist Church, and they're right on the corner of 8th and Houghton. I don't know if you guys ever see it. But we want to put in a sign, like a 3-foot by 4-foot, somewhere in that neighborhood there. And I need to talk to whoever, or have an appointment with whoever, of the variance, you know, for that sign. So it would be, there's not a lot of area to put one there. It would probably, I'm guessing it's gonna be a single-sided sign, but.
We got an extensive section in our community development plan on signs.
That's under me, I'm the permitting person.
You would be the one? Oh, great. So we'll have a little chit-chat somewhere.
And there's a specific place in our development code for the town of Ione that talks about signs and what's allowed and where you can put them and that sort of thing, so. Where is it that you want to put it?
We're not sure, but we need to know some variances, because if we put.
Because you don't have much room on
I
that.
can tell you the variance, because I just measured this off a few months back with my, on Houghton, you got about this much. You run almost right, our right of way is almost right up against your building on the Houghton side. And on 8th Avenue, 6 feet off the side of your building.
Okay.
That's where our,
It would probably be more on the house
Because you've only
side,
got.
so we already know we're gonna have to go back a little bit.
yes, I would say towards the parking lot area, we would have to go.
So the edge of the building would almost be the limit.
Oh, yes,
Okay,
oh, yes.
okay, that's good to know.
Also, we're gonna have there's gonna be a speed sign and not a through truck sign put on that corner, which will be, it'll be on the southeast side, that corner right where your building is. So somebody that's on 8th Avenue, they see the sign, a truck, for instance, coming off Cedar Creek, is gonna be able to see that 25-mile-an-hour sign that says no through truck sign. So that's gonna be, they'd like to keep it within this intersection, like, 7-8 feet, but then there's gonna be an issue there. So Roger and I were talking, and we're gonna get a map on it, but there is gonna be a sign that's gonna go right there. So there might be a time to get together and we could talk about that too.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be within 7 feet, but of course, we don't have 7 feet there. So it's gonna have to be with Roger plowing and just, a conglomeration of everybody getting together and coming up with a plan. But it's gonna be right there at that intersection, just so trucks can see that, and also a speed limit sign. What's
But the
that?
stuff that's there now should not be there.
Correct, it's in all right away.
That's what I thought, that stuff that they just got done putting in there on that corner, that's city right away. It's not church.
Well, they
so-
removed some stuff.
Yeah, but they just did some more stuff
Okay,
there.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah.
Really, I've been paying attention.
There's no rocks, it's just plants and a
Yeah,
tree.
right.
Yeah, and that would be a good time to get a in-person maybe thing happening there and then just give some counsel.
Yeah, there was one gentleman here that came in representing the church before.
That was probably Bill Burke, I guess.
Possibly an older gentleman, I just don't, I don't know his name,
Yeah.
but he was aware of everything that was said to be done up there prior to winter.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm sure it's somewhere in the minutes.
It wouldn't be a bad thing though to go back over that if I can get somebody in person to let us know on the sign situation.
Yeah, we could do that.
Then we can just have everything squared away before that time comes up.
When are you wanting to do your sign?
Well, we haven't purchased anything yet, so we need to know kind of, where it can be placed, where it can't be placed. All that needs to be known before we actually purchase. But we do have the funding for it now, so. And it's just to advertise events and things going on, basically.
So this is an electric sign.
Yeah, it'll be computer controlled type of sign.
Oh, so that's, I mean, if you're.
It's just ringing a bell to me because I think that gentleman came in asking for a variance and it was denied.
Yeah, it was.
Because once you give someone a variance, everybody else is gonna want one. And
As far
that's,
as the sign,
exactly, that's what we came up with, and now that rings a bell.
Yeah, the other thing that I found, because I had to put my highway sign back in a year ago, and although it wasn't a town issue, it was a highway issue, is that there's no variances when it comes to the right of way of the road. It's gotta be out of the right of way. And the sign code is derived from state and federal law. So as I recall, the community development plan basically quotes a lot of the state and federal law about where you can put signs. So, but the key thing is come in, we'll get you a copy of that. If I had my white notebook, I'd give you the copy I have, because it's a lot of information.
I'll get a copy for you, I've got
yeah,
one.
and we just want to know, because if it's something that will get turned down, and we're going to reallocate the funds that we leave safe for, so we can not just have it sitting there.
Is it something that you could attach to your building?
That's what we're thinking about too as well, that it could be,
And just
there's a
print it
little
out a little
portion,
bit?
there's a gable portion that comes out where you walk in the front doors, that we're thinking possibly on that ridge, put something up there, but here's another thing you gotta think about too, I hate to even say this because this might put it down, is some of these signs are pretty bright, and we want people to see it, but if it's so bright that if they're coming up to that stop sign, they're looking at it and halfway blinded, and then.
And you've got people that
Blowing
live
through the
around
stop
there
sign.
too.
Well, if it's a programmable LED sign, because we're doing this for our new highway sign, and it was something that Joe had brought up, and I specifically got the manual and everything for it, and it has two ways, it's almost an infinite control of brightness, is what it's explained to me. And you can actually set the brightness manually, and you can also set it according to either time or electric eye, so it adjusts the brightness according to the ambient light. So you might want to check into that on your sign, because
Yeah,
I
that's a
totally,
good idea.
I totally get when Joe brought it up, there's been some of those those LED signs that were just, laser bright, and they are adjustable so that you can tone them down. And for instance, the sign we got, I mean, if we want to turn it off between the hours of, 1 a.m. and 3 a.m., you can just shut it off. But those are some of the features on these newer ones that might be able to help with that.
Yeah, and change, like at nighttime, it's probably worse, change the brightness, so you're not getting blinded by that light that you're coming up to, just tone it down or shut it down.
Have you seen the fire department one that's right after Beaver Lodge, like at nighttime coming back to Ione?
Yeah.
That thing will
Yeah.
just blind you so bad.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
don't
down
want
lower
that.
too, it's right in eye view. It's bright.
Yeah. All right. Sounds like some further talks. Planning.
We have to go to Spokane tomorrow, but Friday, we could meet with you and get you a copy of the sign information out of the development.
This Friday?
Yeah.
Okay.
You wanna do that?
Yeah.
What time?
Who? What time do you get up?
This morning it was 3:30.
The only thing we have Friday is we're going to Fairfield.
We can do it any day.
In the
I mean,
afternoon,
any day.
but Friday morning.
Okay. 10?
Sure.
Okay.
You want to meet there?
We'll meet at the church.
Okay, 10 o'clock Friday. Perfect.
And a couple
Yes, sir.
more things. First, to talk to John's question a little bit about opportunity zones. I attended a 2-hour session on opportunity zones at the Federal Partners workshop in Pasco last month, put on by the Federal Department of Commerce, I believe, and the IRS was there as well. In a nutshell, opportunity zones are an IRS rule, and it allows, you all understand capital gains. If I buy a business, my dad bought a business in 1962 in Spokane, and he built that business into a nationwide business. This is real. And he sold that business in 1995 for multiple gains, and he paid 40% of his profit to the IRS in capital gains. And the opportunity zone would have allowed him to take that 40% and invest it in an opportunity zone and completely offset that capital gains tax. Rather than writing a check to the IRS, and I saw those checks, rather than write a check to the IRS, he could have invested in a business in Monterey County. I can tell you if it was here then, he would have done that. Okay, so that's all that is. It still has to comply with all of your local processes. Your permitting, your public hearings, all of those processes is simply an income tax issue. The part that the local community is we designate the state and the local communities come up with those zones. It's a population census zone recognized in the census. As it is right now, the area, I believe from Tiger Pass Road north is an opportunity zone. I looked at the map today, but I'm pretty sure that's where it is. The second, that's going to be updated. It's in the process of updating the new one right now. I'm hoping that my whole district will be an opportunity zone, all the way to the border with D2, south of the reservation. The new rules allow greater tax benefit for very rural areas and greater tax benefit for opportunity zones that are adjacent to federally recognized Indian reservations, tribal reservations, because the creators of these have recognized these are the areas that really need help in economic development, and these are the areas. So that's all that is. And I missed whatever you said about it, Dan, and maybe you said that, but I'm just all focused on opportunity
My
zones.
take on it is the whole northern half of Pondray County was a census tract.
Yeah.
And then within that census tract, we have to nominate the actual opportunity zone. So that's where I'm thinking,
And that's
we
where we're at right
nominate,
now.
nominate the town of Ione and
Go for
see
it.
what happens.
Yeah, good job. The only other thing is I'm a complete fool. I will tread in where, angels fear to tread, and I'll talk about water usage. I will just tell you guys.
Are you sure you want to do that?
Discussion was mellow compared to the one in the town of Medellin last week on virtually the same issue. Okay? And they were having people filling both tanks issue. We gotta be charging, we're getting that water, we're wasting that water. And I'm not gonna take sides, other than I think we need to come up with some kind of a method that recognizes both of the views that I saw at the table tonight. I think they're both valid, but we need to have some kind of a method for that works. Because you can't have people just running water out and not, come on, people, kid flow. You can't. and we had the same thing. And at the same time, we all understand, we got water coming out our ears, this is Padre County, we shouldn't have grass burning up, we should have enough water to take care of things. Somewhere in the middle there, and I was a water commissioner for many, many years, so I'll just leave it at that, you guys. You guys remember.
Thanks for pouring
Oh,
that
it could've got
salt.
worse.
It was going that direction.
Thanks for pouring that
Oh, no,
salt.
I would've gotten
And I'm
much
going to
worse.
the workshop tomorrow at Medellin for bulk container fueling, and I'm just gonna be referee. I paid 4 water bills at Medellin, so I might have a little bit of sway in it.
Well, we've got the same issue to overcome here too, because we got people filling up over there by the shop, and I know they're not coming to town hall and
No,
reporting
he's
it.
not.
They
I
just,
just
they
had a
just pay,
conversation with that
pay
same
for
guy.
the permit.
Oh,
And
I'm
then,
sorry, I opened it now.
no, there's a lot of issues.
But there's things that need to be fixed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a way, there's a solution we can.
There's
tackle
gotta be a
that.
solution to get in the middle.
Yes.
I'm in
All
the
right,
middle right now.
public comment closed at 8:46. And if there isn't any other action by the council contemplated, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I
Is there a second?
I second.
By unanimous consent, we're adjourned.
You know, there's no dull moments in my life.